Sylvia and me.
Sylvia and
Sylvia
me.
and me. Sylvia and
Sylvia. Sylvia and me.
Sylvia.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Beckerman, host of the podcast series Sylvia and Me, conversations with extraordinary, inspiring women.
Hi, I'm Michela Di Carlo. I'm the founder and chief editor of crunchytaste.com, the first illustrated online magazine for sassy women over 40. Welcome to Sylvia and me.
Michaela, thank you so much. What a delightful introduction. I love it. Crunchy Tales. As you said, you are the founder and editor. This is a digital, online, illustrative magazine for, you say, women over 40.
Yeah.
Are we talking, do we call it middle age? Or redefining middle age? Because when does middle age, does anyone really know, when does middle age start? A lot of people would think it's maybe 30, maybe 40, and where do we get into being a senior, and does it really matter?
Well, I don't think it really matters. But as you know, as a magazine, we need to find a niche, and so we need to know where we are going and who are the ones we want to talk to. And so the idea was to launch a magazine that was focused on that specific age. So let's say starting from 40. But not just because it is said that the middle age might start at 40 rather than 50. It's because I don't know, but when we are in our 40s, there is a kind of switch. We start to have a different perspective about life, a different idea of life. We are more confident. We don't care what other people think. And so a lot of women recognize this age like a new beginning. So let's say starting from 30, but yeah, it doesn't really matter, honestly. It's just because, running a magazine, I need to define a target.
Yes.
So,
you need to know who you're targeting.
Yes. So, but anyway, we talk to any women, might be 60, 70, 80s, doesn't matter. As long as you are a sassy woman, as long as you don't let age define yourself, as long as you are ready to see this stage of life like a land of opportunities rather than a crisis, because there, in the past, a lot of...
it is a land of opportunity.
Yeah,
and as you said, women in their 40s, it all depends. A lot of people are getting married later, or having children later in life. It used to be, by the time you were 40, in your mid 40s, your children, if you have children, are just about grown. You're basically maybe in your career. But as we start getting a little bit older, not old, but older, as we get
mature
in numbers and more mature,
vintage,
hopefully.
I don't know.
But we do get smarter, and we have to know that as we're getting more mature and more sassy, that there are certain things that we've so worried about before, we really don't need to worry about. We're hopefully getting settled in what we're about to do. So I think that's great. And your magazine hits on so many different topics, from lifestyle to career. How did you go about thinking, to segment this? What do you think is the number one topic that women, as we get older, face?
I've noticed that a lot of readers are more focused on nutrition and well-being. And of course, fashion is still a hot topic, but well-being probably is the main subject. But I try to have a wide range of topics, as you said, because you might be interested in improving your skills, whether it's food or careers, I don't know. I mean, there is also a space, let's say, there are rooms for improvement, and so let's take this stage of life as a chance to improve. And but I usually like to mix and match content. I mean, sometimes we like to write about sassy light things. Sometimes we suggest in-depth, focus. So we write in-depth interviews or in-depth feature about anything. It could be like how to survive grief, or how to survive a divorce, or how to teach your kids, how to fight back a bully or something like that. So actually, I think that midlife is as colorful as our magazine. That's why I wanted a bold magazine with illustrations and I hope punchy content.
Well, you do. And that's the thing, mixing up, because being sassy doesn't mean that you shouldn't be serious, that there aren't serious topics and events, life events that happen, as we do get older. As women, we go through menopause. As women, if our parents, we have aging parents.
Can I say something? Can I say something? Yes,
Sure.
Of course. We talk also about caregivers, so how tiring it is, being the sandwich generation. But talking about menopause, please, let me say it. I mean, I will repeat and repeat and repeat it. Stop to think about menopause as a disease.
And it's not a disease. It's the start. It's the start of some really neat things.
Believe me, unfortunately, there are so many magazine and media outlets that make a lot of money talking about menopause all the time. So for me, it's like adding a new label to women in their 50s. Women over 40s are menopausal. They are supposed to, enjoying gardening and baking. It's not like that. So please, first of all, not all the women are in menopause when they are in their 50s.
No.
And secondly, I mean, okay, I mean, of course, some little issues, big or little issues, but it depends on women. For instance, my mom didn't experience such a dramatic, symptoms. So I don't know, this is something that really irritates me, because it's like, okay, it's an important topic, but please stop to talk about menopause all the time. It's like, we are menopausal all the time. We are just
that's
menopausal.
the thing.
Nothing else to say, nothing else to write about. I don't understand.
But it's a label, and
yeah.
What happens is so many women are afraid of it, and they think that once they get there, they're old and there's nothing they can do and life is over. And I think that the only reason to talk about it is to debunk those myths, to get rid of those myths, because guess what? For some people, it's, it opens up so many other things for them in their own mind. So to me, I want to debunk the myth that life is over and you're old.
Absolutely.
Guess what? We're not.
Plus, believe me, there are a lot of young people who are already very old in their mind.
Yes.
Because they don't take risks, because they are so cautious, and sometimes because they are either repressed or maybe depressed. I don't know, I'm sorry. But that doesn't mean that because the fact that you are over 40, 50 or 60s, that doesn't mean that you are old in your mind. I mean, at Crunchy Tales, we insist in cultivating your inner beauty, but especially the joy, that sometimes surround yourself. You can find joy in, I don't know, in having an ice cream, or looking a lovely view, or going to a museum. I don't know. For me, it's very important to cultivate our inner child.
Yes.
And our slogan, old playful women don't get old, it's something I really believe in. So if we still are, I don't know, probably it's my Italian background, but I think that despite all these difficult circumstances, we still need to face life with a smile.
That's the thing. Yeah. We do need to, the most important thing is to be able to smile. It's to be able to wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and go, okay.
Yeah. Of course, it's not always easy.
Just just think of what can take place today.
Yeah.
There's so much unknown. And as we get into our 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on, there's so much that we can do. At that stage, there are many things. Maybe we could start thinking about doing something different. Whether it be doing a magazine, doing a podcast, writing a book, coming out with something that you've always been passionate about. There are, we're lucky. There are so many resources that we can access. So what are some of the main topics that I know that you have people who can, tell their story. What are some of the major similarities in some of these stories that you hear from women?
Most of these stories are stories of Renaissance, stories of women that after a tough time, so it might say what people call midlife crisis, they can say, stop, I want to get out of here. And so they decided to take their hands in their hands. So they take, their life in their hands. Sorry. And they decided, to change their life. But change is not like doing adventurous things. It's not, means simply, I do believe that change happens only when you are fed up of your current situation. So it doesn't matter how many psychologists, psychiatrists, or coaches you will meet, you will see, you will follow. If you're not ready to make the change, you will never succeed in embracing your new life. So there are several people who believe that, after this life, there are many others. It depends on which belief, which religion you follow. But I do believe that in this life, we can experience many others, as you said. Yes, probably that's not the second chapter. There are many more. And I think you're right. Of course, crunchytales.com was born out of frustration and necessity. I mean, I'm an experienced journalist. I spent the past 30 years writing for the top Italian national newspaper. Then I moved to England because I got a very interesting chance to work for a TV. And then I realized it was time probably to use all my knowledge and expertise to do something that probably might be good for the community. Who knows? And because I was fed up, crunchytales.com was born of frustration, necessity, because I was tired, fed up of all those magazine and media outlets out there that, depicting, how can I say, illustrating midlife as a time of, retirement and golf, I don't know, all these things. And there is still an aura of frumpiness around the idea of midlife ladies. And so I said, no, I can't see myself, uh, into this picture. It's not me. And I wanted to show that midlife women needs to find their own voice. Probably, of course, they already have their own voice, but probably through my magazine, I'm going to amplify this voice, make it more, I don't know, recognizable. How would you say?
Recognizable, and the fact that
Yeah.
you're not alone.
Yeah.
As we were speaking before, sometimes some of the smallest things that that happen in life are the biggest things to so many. So the information that you give out and the stories from people at a variety of different ages is helping to debunk the myth that life ends at middle age, whatever we call middle age, and what is there left? Oh, I'm going to be 60. I'm going to be 70. Well, there's whole new chapter and chapters of a book that's not been written yet.
Absolutely. And because we wanted to amplify those voices of midlife rebooting, we also ran several panel discussions in England that unfortunately the COVID stopped for the moment. And so we used to run this panel discussion once a month. And so I used to host these talk shows, I would say more pillow talks. I used to invite several women, maximum 5 from different backgrounds, and invited them to talk about their own rebooting, when they press the reset button and why. And after these talks, we also have Q&A sessions. And I'll tell you what, all these events were sold out. And when people give me feedback oh, thank you so much, I really enjoyed last night, but especially it helped me to find, a new ideas, a new purpose. I don't know. I don't expect to be a coach. I'm a journalist. And usually, for instance, I open my talks saying that we don't sell you any formula for success. We don't coach you. We don't want to sell you any special gel for wrinkles. We want you as, we want you the way you are, perfectly imperfect middle-aged women who decided to
Open
see
their eyes.
to see I don't know what's over there, what's over that hill that people think we are, okay, we are over the hill, but let's see what's behind that hill. Let's see what's behind that hill, a new view, a new vision. And that's the Crunchy Tales vision. I mean, I don't know if I was able to to transmit it.
That's perfect, and that's the whole thing. It's inspirational content. The people you have are inspirational, and they're giving out some of the stuff that's written, you'd go, wow, why didn't I think of that? Or because as women, we don't always move forward with what we're thinking. We'll think, oh, well, that's too, everyone else is going to be doing it. Why should I? Well, you never know. You never know. And everyone has something different. But to be able to give out, as you said, you're not selling anything. You're not a consultant. You're not a coach. Your background is you're a journalist. You tell the news, you tell
stories. You
tell stories, you tell it like it is. And that is so important because sure, that you can go to a therapist, you can, and I'm not knocking any of that because for some people it's very helpful, but there's also commonality in storytelling.
And I also like
stories.
And I like considering middle-aged ladies as late bloomers, those ladies who bloom later in life, but because probably they find their true calling. But that doesn't mean that, because you are a late bloomer, you are, you don't have a good smell. Let's say that.
No, and again, as we do get older, for those of us with children, all of a sudden we become empty nesters. For me, I was able to, take over their rooms and make another closet. But for some people, they don't allow themselves to feel the pride and joy of what they've accomplished, because as parents, we've accomplished something. Your kids are still breathing. They're doing quite okay. They're out on their own, which is why we bring up our children, to be able to let them.
I'll tell you what, the idea of middle-aged ladies that maybe, are quite free because the kids are at the uni, it's another myth to debunk, because there are a lot of late mother like me,
Yes.
for instance.
Well,
I
so
had
was
my
I.
child later in my years, and so I mean, I'm still dealing with tantrums, or I don't know, kids tantrums. So it's not, and it's difficult to standardize the new middle-aged ladies, because it's so different from the past, so different, that it's a mix and match of women that have different experiences. And first of all, they travel more. Well, they used to travel now because of COVID, I don't know. But they also try to challenge, not only stereotypes, but also their own limits. They are also tech savvy. And so it's very, I think also for advertiser nowadays, it's quite difficult to tackle this new woman. It's so difficult because and I'll tell you what, I like the idea of being versatile. I like the idea that we are not so easy, in terms of manipulating our conscience.
Yes.
So I like that.
See, and that's just like what you said. We both had children a little bit later in life. Mine finally are gone. And I don't mean finally are gone. They're out of the house. They're not. I don't have that responsibility.
Yes.
It was enough that I remember
The everyday, the day-to-day routine. Yeah.
But the whole thing is that as we communicate and as the stories are told, people don't have to be afraid of whatever that next hill is, that next chapter, that next door they're opening up. Because especially with the technology we have and the communication, and that's it, communicating and again, storytelling and sessions like this, conversations like this, not conversations like this, open up other people's eyes to, well, yes, I had children later in life, and maybe my kids aren't out of the house yet, but there are other people, like I'm not, I'm not, I can still live my life, or my kids are out of the house, or it's just nice that you've been able to bring people in their middle age together in midlife, because it is midlife. We're living longer.
You know what I really like of the midlife movement, let me call it like that, is the fact that this movement has its own channels, its own networks, and as a journalist, as a classic journalist, old-fashioned, probably coming from the classic.
Classic is not old-fashioned.
It's very exciting to see that there are hidden avenues that usually people are not able to see. And I'm glad that Midlife Women has the key to this special avenue. Only us have, probably the power to see beyond those gates that people want, to put in front of us. And I like it. And I'll tell you, okay, as a journalist, I have my own sources. And of course, I've been so happy that Standard Media wrote about crunchytaste.com, but sometimes I'm happier to engage with other ladies who are part of this revolution, because I don't know, we talk about real things. We don't talk about it just because midlife now is a trend, so everyone writes and talk about midlife. Do you understand?
Yes.
So I feel a sense of sisterhood in all these chats, and that's quite exciting. And also, I like to be part of this, this big group that has no frontiers, no age. It's strange that I'm saying that, but it's true, no age, because in the end, if you think that there are also some cross-generational groups, but it's all, we have a special avenues, and I'm glad that not everyone can
Well, so am
join
I.
us.
But so am I. As I said, you have somebody who's mentoring in well-being, leadership, lifestyle, food.
Yeah, we have several experts. Yes,
and it's wonderful because you also open up to just anyone, trying to tell their story. And that's the thing, that people are able to, they have a platform to tell their story, which is very powerful. Because sometimes until you tell your story, you can't even realize what your story is.
Yes, absolutely.
It's really.
But it's not only telling stories, because as a classic journalist, I like to have news and views. So there are views, there are opinions, but there are also news, there are also topic and needs to be featured. So we give, spaces to women, to conventional and unconventional middle-aged women who have a story to tell. But we also write about, lifestyle, and we talk about general topics. It's not only giving voice.
No, that's why
ladies.
I mentioned you do have people who are specific to writing about.
Yes, absolutely. That's something
things.
I strongly wanted, because for me it's important to have a network of experts, and being a source that middle-aged women can trust. So it's not just chit chat,
No, we can't listen. That was the old ladies who lunch, who might sit around and, back in the day, have a martini. It wasn't even a glass of wine, it was a martini. And
I love aging like fine wine. Let's say that, coming from Italy, I like aging like fine wine.
Our cabinet's stocked with fine wine.
But I would prefer aging playfully. It's better.
That's it. And I like that. Aging playfully, because aging gracefully, playfully, because we need to be able to keep smiling, especially in what's going around, in today's world.
Aging gracefully might be a bit boring,
Boring.
I want to be bold. Yeah, aging gracefully.
What really gets me is when in these magazines it says hairstyles for women over 50, clothing, what to wear for women over 40, 50, 60. Yes. I mean, give me a break.
I think you should wear the way, I don't know, you should wear those clothes that fit you, and regardless your age. So,
Yes. I mean, there are a couple of things that some, women should not be seen in. Little short shorts walking into business is not exactly the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. But, what they come up with, and so many women get stuck in this corridor thinking that, well, these are the experts, so this is what I have to do. And they're afraid. It's like not wearing white after Labor Day. That's baloney. That went out a long time ago. White's one of my favorite colors. Black and white, anytime. So I love that you call it aging playfully.
Yes.
Where do you want to take the magazine to? What goal do you have for where it needs to go?
As an Italian,
Yeah,
I might be a bit superstitious, so I usually don't disclose my goals
Okay,
before
fine.
achieving that. But I'll tell you that what, no, I don't want to be rude. It's just that usually, I prefer working step by step. Of course, I have some long
I'll ask you
term.
a different question. If you had one piece of advice to give to women who are in the middle of their life, no matter what age they are, whatever decade they are, what would that be?
Just do it. Sorry, it sounds a bit pathetic, but just do it. Also, please don't rely always on man's vision and expectations, and because some women can't break free from the idea of living together, being happy ever after. That's, don't get me wrong, I'm married, I have a family, but sometimes women feel stuck because they think of these family links that they can't break if the situation is not brilliant, and
Right.
sometimes it's important. I think the best relationship is with ourselves, so it's important
Most
that
important.
at 50 we are focused on finding ourselves, finding that little voice, that little seeds that was planted probably several years ago, but for several circumstances it wasn't allowed to grow. So now it's the time that seed starts to bloom. That's why we have Crunchy Days to inspire all these ladies. And Sylvia and me, of course. Yeah.
Well, Michela, this has been so absolutely, what fun. What
Thank you.
absolute fun. And for anyone who hasn't found your website yet, I know it's crunchytales.com, and there's so much information on there. And when I say information, it's not, it's not bullet point information. It's fun information. It's information that we need, and we need to share. So
Yeah.
I thank you
Thank
for
you.
doing Crunchy Tales. I think it's absolutely wonderful. And this has
Thank you
been a
so
delight.
much. Thank you. Pardon?
This has been a delight.
Thank you. But believe me, I like to consider Crunchy Days like a virtual playground for midlife women.
Well, I think it is.
Yeah, because even if you are in a rush and you don't have time to read the whole piece, you can browse our little art galleries and and smile and
Right.
think that there is always something more to discover.
Always.
And so, thank you so much, Sylvia. I really, really love this chat, this conversation, and the idea that we are so far, that you are living, so far one to another. It's fantastic. And thank you for, engaging with my English.
Oh, it's cool. You can find us on all of your popular podcast platforms. And of course, our website, sylviame.com. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned.